So I want to take a look at this fourth round and just kind of like analyze the things that are changing and happening as the fight begins to shift. Because after this fourth round, everything changes. Let's get straight into it. Always look at the start of the round. Benavidez coming out, of course, aggressive, but he's feinting. Is that jab is a throwaway? It's not even meant to land. I think it's more of a range gauger, more of a, invading that space and just a feint at the same time. And this is what I mean by invading that space. I think other people call it taking away real estate. But when he's doing that, Andrade is getting backed up further and further. But Andrade's smart, so he's gonna circle around to get his back off the ropes. And it also serves as a feint because when he throws that out there, it's setting up this right hook to the body that did go low. Another important detail I forgot to mention is look at how he level changes, gets low when he's throwing that right hook to the body. So everything is looking the same. Everything is disguised to look like one thing, but it could be a right hook to the body, or it could be that right hook that lands up top that dropped Andrade. And earlier when I saw Andrade repetitively ducking, I was wondering if I would see Benavidez. Well, I was wondering when Benavidez was going to start launching these uppercuts, and he was working off the lead uppercut and the backhand. So depending on the angle Andrade was going at, he could catch him with either hand if he timed him ducking. Before Andrade even tries to smother and clinch, Benavidez has that hand right there framing off of his face, making space. And then he has that allows space for that right arm to be free, or I think that's the left arm actually, and the left arm. And then he's working with that, hitting him to the body, and then that other arm is free. So it's not a lot of control in the clinch from Andrade, which is allowing Benavidez to work. Andrade was working a little bit, but you could tell who got the better of that exchange. A solid defense from Benavidez here. That Andrade throws a 1-2, the 2 comes up the middle. He sees or anticipates that right hook coming around the side, and he adjusts his guard accordingly. So he's not just standing there in the static high guard like how we used to see him. He actually was active with it, changing depending on the trajectory of the punch or the type of punch. And then he's going to kind of level change a little bit. Andrade's going to back up, and he's going to level change again, and Andrade's going to try and get that guard around that backhand. He's gonna try and get it around, but Benavidez almost catches him, but he knocks the glove down. So the glove was just in the way. But as we all know, if the trajectory is slightly off, if the punch selection is a little bit different, that guard it's not gonna be able to handle much more than a 4 or a right hook. One thing about the Benavidez brothers is that, in my opinion, they throw a lot of arm punches. Not this punch particularly, but this cross is gonna come up top. He's kind of put his leg into it, but it's mostly coming through the arm. They're not very powerful, but I think a lot of their speed in those combinations is because they're not turning their body into those punches. They're doing damage. Of course, David Benavidez is doing damage, and we saw the fight, but those shots are surprising. They have no telegraph. They just whip out, and you're like, whoa. That's why Andrade was getting clipped so early on, and he was trying to pull back at times, but those shots are coming. By the time you see them, they already hit you in the face. Another thing about his technique is that he can do creative stuff. So he's fine working off that one hand and just working off that right hand, because he's kind of squared up anyways. So normally people double up on that lead hand, but when he's squared up, he's allowed to work off that rear hand multiple times as well. And I think Andrade right here is really trying to control the range, kind of like what Caleb Plant does, like a form of a long guard, a form of punch traffic, keeping that, they call it keeping that stick out there. That probe to really blind the guard and keep the range, keep something in between you and your opponent. But Benavidez, what he does, he just comes over top, and that punch doesn't land super clean, but punches don't have to land super clean in order to make change, in order to change the outcome of the fight. When I was talking about Andrade being good, this is what I mean. Like, this is some crafty stuff. So he's like moving backwards and he plants. He's making Benavidez follow him. He knows Benavidez is following him. He's timing his forward steps, and he plants when Benavidez is coming forward and tries to land that uppercut in between the steps of Benavidez. You see Benavidez keep throwing his same shot, level change, try to throw. It's a little bit of overhand, but mostly a right hook. So he's cutting off that angle. You can't go right, but he also knows he's gonna go left, so he's been throwing this left hook to the body to try and cut off that exit. Andrade is backing up a lot of times with his hands down, and so after Benavidez throws the jab, he's gonna try and follow it up. So he's not just walking him down mindlessly now. So he knows that Andrade's escaping with his hands down. He's trying to catch him on the escape, which means he has to step forward with combos. He can't just walk in the range and throw combos. He has to walk forward while throwing combos. And again, that right hand is coming out like a jab, but it has more force than a jab because it's coming from that back side, but it's coming out so fast. And I think that's throwing off Andre, because in an open stance fight like that, the crosses are far more aligned depending on the foot position. And so in those situations, Andre's getting clipped and it surprises him. It's throwing off his timing. You got Andre putting out a probe. That's not even a real jab. Notice how he's not trying to touch his face. He's touching the guard purposefully. He's not even touching him at times. He's trying to keep the range, and it doesn't work out because that guard, like I said, if the trajectory changes, that same guard isn't going to be effective. It's only guarding the side of his head, and that punch comes over top and it lands around more down the middle rather than around the side. So all it takes is a change of trajectory, and then this is what happens. So he goes down, and then from there the fight becomes a slaughter. But Andre is really good, but BENAVIDEZ he's a monster for a reason. We'll keep it simple. We may look at some other stuff. Y'all let me know what y'all want. Immortality Serum out.